Welcome to They Think It's All Sober. Kaitlin Reeve, how are you, my friend?
I am so good. Very hot, but very good. So blessed and really grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming on. We were just having a brief pre-pod chat about Jamie going to see The Streets tonight, and you had an experience the last time you went to see The Streets.
Well, no, I was like, okay, for context, people listening will know that The Streets are like in my top 3 artists. And when they did their comeback, I was so excited. They did their comeback in 2018, I think, that I bought 5 tickets to the 5 shows in a row. And then me and my friend, did a different drug or got fucked up on different things each night to see which was the best. And you asked me what was the best, and I can't remember. They must all have been good. But that was when Brixton, I don't know if they still do, you did the double pint things. I think one night we were coked up, one night we did MDMA, one night we did pills. And then I think the other 2 was just drink, because that's safe.
I'm a bit exhausted by then. But do you know what's fucked up is my first thought when you said that was, that sounds fun. Fucking nearly 4 years sober. And I'm still like,
So romanticising about like this sort of like weird sesh like.
It'll be a seshy gig though. That's what I'm again, like we're all similar sober age. I'll be completely fine and I'll love it, but that's going to be a seshy gig. Like, especially after England have lost, I think people are going to be a bit like, fucking football, and then angry at the gig.
They will.
But I'm going to Reggae Land in 2 weeks' time, and I went last year, and I'm telling you, that was the biggest test of my sobriety. There was more weed smoked there than when I was in Jamaica.
No
it was
way.
Fucking insane.
Where was it held?
Weed. It's Milton Keynes Bowl.
Oh God.
So you've literally got, there's 80,000 people, bar me, smoking weed.
Just a massive
it's like
bong
plume above.
You're there just like wearing like a COVID mask up. I'm not trying to smoke this.
So yeah, I'm wondering how I'm going to cope with that next time. But I think I'll be all right, because as soon as I walked in, and you might find the same, it was as soon as I heard the music, I was like, fine, I'm here for the music.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
By the time this episode comes out, I've relapsed.
No, you'll be good.
Anyway, how are you though? Life good? Everything treating you well?
Life is really good. Life is blessed. I share a lot about my reality as being a sober mum, because it's not always fantastic. It's not always brilliant. But I'm not just sober, I'm in recovery. So I'm not just recovering from drink and drugs. There's other things that, happened in my life that I'm now capable of looking at and dealing with those. And with that, and with the rawness of feeling every emotion, it can have its challenges. But on the whole, it is always better than before.
Yeah.
I think we should dive straight back into the past, just to get a bit of an understanding about like previous drink and habits. And,
are you going to do your funny sound?
Yeah,
so it's not a funny sound, Kaitlin. It's a time machine.
It's Jamie's time machine. And he's very proud of it. So
the other guy loved it. So, God, I always knew I like Ben more. Right, are we ready? We're in the time machine.
And we are back to young Kaitlin. What were your first memories of drinking, like growing up? Not necessarily for like you drinking, but like drinking around you and.
Do you know, I actually think I remember drugs before drinking.
Right.
I remember my dad's number plate. I was 6 years old, and his number plate was XTC. And at that age, I was already like, oh, it says ecstasy. So something had already got into my mind about drugs, because I knew exactly what that meant.
Well, that's interesting.
I know. And then my step-granddad owned a pub, so we used to go there every weekend. My mum and stepdad would work in the pub. So I was around drink and drugs from quite a young age, and I remember seeing the people who I loved taking drugs, and that seemed to make them happy and cheerful. And so I do always remember thinking, I can't wait to grow up and do that and be happy. My childhood was chaotic. I won't go into details, but there was neglect in my childhood and abuse in my childhood. There was a lot of instability and mental health problems. And, I was a really unhappy young person. When I was 9, I sat on my bedroom window ready to jump out of it because I just didn't want to be here anymore.
Wow.
So when I saw these people who I looked up to doing that, I just couldn't wait to do that. To me, that's what being a grown-up was. You took drugs.
Without obviously like putting anyone in a situation where you maybe wouldn't want to talk about, but were you kind of observing this through like a peek through a window, or was it quite open around you?
Both.
Right, okay.
Yeah, there were family members who were really open about it. I remember one of them taking me aside when I was at 11 and saying to me, look, this is what we're doing. We think you're old enough and smart enough to understand that this is what we're doing and it's not a bad thing. And when I look back now, I think, fucking hell, that's way too young to tell me that. That's wild. I was 11. Yeah. Other instances I've only sort of realised now, like, for example, people in my home being locked in bedrooms all weekend. Now I look back, I'm like, now I know what you were fucking doing in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, both. For
you, when was your sort of first initiation into drinking?
I started drinking in year 5. I was bought alcohol in year 5. And by age 11, I was allowed to drink whenever I wanted to. Yeah.
Well, so that's really wild, like 10, that's sort of like 10, 11 sort of age, which is young.
Yeah. And then the first time I remember getting battered was the millennium.
Right.
Absolutely wankered. I just remember laying on my grandma's bathroom floor. It was horrific. It didn't put me off.
But yeah, I remember being like 11 and just being like at a kid's party. So it's so interesting that we're kind of the same age and your experience was like blackout drunk.
Yeah.
Like it's weird when you talk about, like you said with the 11 thing, like some people's ages at that period, it's just so, I don't know. It's
so
like
different.
It's so different.
I mean, I couldn't imagine letting my 11-year-old drink. There's no way.
I mean, the scary thing for me is that, like, when we're thinking about drinking in year 5 and 6, which, you know, a lot of people actually who've come on the podcast have drunk at that age.
I definitely had a cigarette in year 5,
which is mad. And I'm thinking, like, my kid has just turned 8.
I know.
And like, he's barely capable of like doing anything. Like, so I'm thinking, like, in like 2 years, like these things are going to be presented to him in some state. And you know, I think it's probably quite a good thing that he's aware of the podcast and, you know, not drinking, and he's definitely aware of it. You know, to the point where he actually gives people shit for drinking, which I'm not sure is a good thing, but I'd rather he did than didn't.
My 6-year-old's the same. He's like, my daughter had some alcohol in her bedroom because she's nearly 19, and he said to her, "Oh, why has she got poison in her bedroom?" I was like, yeah, cool. But he actually asked me the other night, he was like, have you ever taken drugs? And I wasn't going to lie to him. I said, yeah, I did. Mummy wasn't very well. And, I, you know, made some silly decisions. And that's why I go to my group, because I take him to my sober group with me. That's why I go to my group, so that I don't drink anymore and don't do those things anymore, make silly decisions. He's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So interesting when you give the, like, I guess in the same way that maybe the people around you thought that telling you that drugs were good at that age was going to give you a certain pathway, which maybe it did. It's the same where like kids can handle this stuff if it's framed in the right way, right?
Yeah, and do you know, I just think leading by example is the best thing that we can do, because I don't know about you, but it was drummed into me when I was at school that drugs are bad. Definitely didn't stop me taking them. In actual fact, when I started taking them and felt these actually feel really good, it made me not believe a word anyone else said. And that fed my ego into, I know best, I've got this, I can do this, I'm all right.
What did drink give you at that point? Because obviously you were kind of a 9-year-old kid, as you said, and you know, we're obviously in a mental place where you weren't very happy. Did drink give you something as an escapism? Like, do you remember those early days of kind of where it sat for you?
Not really. I remember having a laugh. I remember it being fun. So I guess it did give me that. I don't think I really thought back to what it gave me at that age so much. I kind of think about more what it gave me when I started taking drugs, because although alcohol was the first drug that I picked up, it certainly wasn't my favorite. I'd say I had addictions before I picked up drink and drugs, but they were things like food was always a big thing for me, and it still is something that I have to really work on, especially sugar, and Fantasyland. I was addicted to my mind thinking.
I thought you meant some kind of rave.
It's a secret rave you don't know about.
Yeah. Where is this place?
For 9-year-olds.
That's interesting. So you kind of had a very imaginative brain and...
Yeah, really active brain. Yeah, always have done.
So teen drinking, was it fairly typical for you? Like 13, 14, 15? Was there lots of parks and...
No.
Or was it more parties or...
It was... Back then, you didn't need ID to go anywhere. So I was in clubs at 15.
Right.
Before that, don't get me wrong, there were parks and things like that. But it certainly wasn't my favourite thing to do. I didn't actually have very many friends, so I didn't know loads of people to go and do those kind of things with. And then I met my best friend, and we were like two peas and two fucked up peas in a pod. And we really found ourselves when we found each other. Have you seen that film 13? That's what people say we were like.
No way.
Yes. Yeah, we were messy, really messy. I think I was 15 when I started smoking weed. And that, apart from the days that I've had my kids, I always said that was the best day of my life.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, because I'd never laughed that much my whole life.
So that first day was just like, I fucking loved this.
Loved it, absolutely loved it. And although I went into recovery for coke, weed was by far the hardest one for me to quit. I had a lot of belief systems around weed. Like, it's a herb, it's medicine, and I love Rasta. So I've got all these like thoughts going through in my head, like, I'm supposed to do this. But reality was I wasn't supposed to do it how I was doing it.
For me, and I've said this to you before, Jamie, when I was talking about my like journey with stuff, like alcohol definitely wasn't the first thing. I might have had some WKDs or something at parties or whatever it was, but for me it was weed. Like from when I was like 15, and it was the same. I used to like find it hilarious, all me and my mates just getting high, playing music, laughing, and like, I don't know, it just kind of enhanced everything that was already funny, and I think that's why I really liked it. And then but that only lasted a few years for me before I started wigging out, so it was short-lived, probably for a good reason. But alcohol didn't really come until a little bit later, which was quite weird. So I also find it quite fascinating that going back, because it was the same with my sister, who's a few years older than me as well, going into clubs from like 14, 15 was like a real thing then as well. And then suddenly, now you think about it, like that's quite a young age to be able to like just go out and party and drink and just be in that environment.
And you're hanging out with older men as well.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it than just the drink and the drugs. When I look back now and I think, there wasn't really many consequences at the time. But if I think I was in West End clubs from the age of 17, I was in China White, partying away, completely changing the person that I was, because who I was back then to who I became once I started going out in these clubs was a whole new different person. And the consequences were quite wild when I look back. When I think, like, I was kidnapped once, I was held in a trap house. One night I found myself in a sex dungeon in Mayfair with a load of underage girls and people whose names were on the Epstein files,
Oh my,
sorry.
Jesus Christ.
This is
absolutely wild, some of the shit that happened.
all from just like West London club culture.
Yeah. People think it's really glamorous, and I thought it was really glamorous. And it, it took me into a world that was so far away from my own that I guess I just accepted these things as part of what came with it. And I also think I got a little bit of a buzz out of getting away with it. Like, there's something about me, something special, because I didn't get trapped in any of it. I got out of all of it. But when I think, like, that's the same age my daughter is now, I can't imagine if she ever came to me and said, oh, by the way, I got kidnapped. Like, what? Yeah, it was quite scary.
Yeah, it's mad.
Were you aware at this time, like, because I guess looking back, hindsight's a beautiful thing, right? That you could just accept it, that was just how life was at the time. And it's like, this is what people do.
Yeah.
But looking back, do you think drink, drugs, was it destructive at that part of your life? And do you think it was like taking hold, or? Obviously,
apart from these obviously dangerous situations I got into, I mean, I looked like shit. I used to wear age 6 clothes because I was so skinny. I would turn up at work late. Well, I was always mash up, always at work. And I made bad decisions. So I think it did have a hold on me in that way as well. But I didn't know any different. To me, loads of people were going out and getting wasted every night and turning up at work fucked.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when that's your environment, you don't really think anything of it. It's the same as like we just had with talking with Ben about it as well, being in music. when you're surrounded by it and it's happening all around you, you're like, well, this is perfectly normal. But then you go and put yourself in like another job or another situation where everyone would be like, this is fucking mental.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
so.
And I think as well, like back then, like there were lots of really fun times as well. It wasn't all bad, and I don't ever like to paint a picture of it was always at rock bottom, or it was always these multiple rock bottom moments. Sometimes I had a fucking great time, and that keeps you in it, doesn't it? Like the delusion of, oh, I'm having fun, stops you from seeing the negative parts of it for a really long time. And it was equal like that with, once it had got really bad, I could look at other mums and be like, well, I'm not like her, she's lost her kids, or I'm not as bad as her because her partner's left her, or I'm not as bad as her because you should have heard them last night. That delusion kept me stuck where I was for a lot longer than I think I needed to be.
I think it pulls you in, isn't it? Actually, the friend I'm going to the streets with tonight, we both stopped drinking around a similar time, and when we quit, we kind of really broke it down, and we were like, man, like it was probably 1 out of every 10 nights that we'd be like, that was worth it, that was really fun, and the other 9 were probably just us chasing the feeling that we had from the one. And then when you multiply that 3 or 4 times a week, you realize that actually, like, out of a year going out, you probably have 5 or 6 really fucking good nights.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time you're just spending 500 quid on drugs to try and chase something that doesn't
that
really
is
exist.
not actually going to bring you any good. Like I would be up all night by myself praying out, thinking the feds are going to come and like break my door down and arrest me for my 2 tickets and a bag of green. And like I'd promise myself, I'm not going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to get up in the morning and I will not do it. And if you'd asked me, lie detector tested me at 8 o'clock in the morning, I would have passed that detector test that I wasn't going to do it. By 9 o'clock, I'm already ringing my dealer and picking up again, even though I know what's going to happen. But my head used to say to me, oh no, it'll be different this time. You can just have one. But I never had one.
Yeah.
Never had one. And it was not fun. Towards the end, none of it was fun. I was killing myself. I was so underweight. I couldn't walk. My circulation had gone. In fact, there was one time I remember going in the bathroom, my lips had gone blue. My face was all grey. My baby's in the other room, and I still went and did another line. It's the insanity of the mind of, I refer to myself as an addict. So the mind of the addict is fucking insane.
Yeah, that's so tough. I mean, let's talk about that escalation then, I guess. So you've sort of gone from the teenage nightclub era of being out and about. Sort of what did your early 20s look like, and when did, I guess you referenced cocaine, like when did that become the main character?
Really quickly after I did it the first time. The first time I did it was 16, and I was in a penthouse on High Street, Kensington. I thought I was being really fucking grown up and glamorous. The first time I did it, I didn't like it. I was like, what's that rank taste at the back of your throat? But within a week, I'd done it again. And I'd say within a couple of months, I was doing it most days.
At 16?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Slight tangent, but I think the comparison thing you mentioned earlier when you're like, oh, I'm not as bad as so-and-so, not as bad as so-and-so. Like me and Jamie have talked about this before as well, is that I look back and think about all of those, because I used to do the same thing. It was like a comparison where like, oh, I haven't done that, I haven't fucked up. And but actually I was only ever one bad decision whilst drinking or fucked up away from going to prison.
Yeah.
Or, crashing my car drunk, or like just dying, or like all of these like big consequential things. Like whilst it luckily none of that stuff did happen, it was pretty close on a few occasions to like that stuff happening. And it kind of makes me shudder looking back, going, that could have easily been me. And even looking at the person, like the guy on the park bench with the bottle of vodka, like you think, how does someone go from, well, it's like, well, actually I can see quite easily how someone could lose everything very quickly.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny you use that analogy of going to prison, because that's not the right word, but you talked about that, because for a while, part of my service within the fellowship I'm in, I went into prison, women's prisons, and did meetings, and I used to leave there and think, fucking hell, the only difference between them and me is I didn't get caught. This is wild, it'd make you so fucking grateful to go home to your kids.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think of it like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I mean the amount of times I'm sure like, yeah, I can look back now. Like Hannah was saying the other week, like getting behind the wheel of a car when you shouldn't, or I was always one that picked up for people. So I'd be like walking through London with 15 bags in my pocket.
Yeah, but I bet you
that's
felt
enough
like a
to
bit
go
of a
away
gangster.
for a long
did.
time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so scary. Or even in lockdown when it got bad for me, I was ordering like 20 bags at a time. It's like all it took was one neighbour to complain because lasers and smoke was coming out my house during lockdown, and I would have been fucked.
I know.
But you're so right. And it's like, it's embarrassing now. Like it was funny at the time. I don't know if you have the same when I think about people, it's a perception of me. And I was like, at the time I was like, you're just not very fun. Like you just don't get it. And I look back now and I was probably like, no, they were spot on. Like I was a loser.
But so pretty much from 16, Coke was like a pretty main character in your...
Yeah, it was. I mean, my early 20s actually were pretty calm because I had my first child when I was 21. So I stopped everything then, and I kind of forgot how bad it was before and how much of it I was doing. So I knew I had a problem before, but I just thought it was a bit of a bad habit. I didn't think I was an addict at all. Because like you said, those are the people you think you see on the park benches. So yeah, my early 20s, I didn't do an awful lot of it. It was when I was probably about 20, in fact, I know I was 23, I came out of a really difficult, controlling situation, and I kind of went from not being able to leave my house and see anyone to having freedom again, and that's when it really took off. To me, I was like, I'll get Kaitlin back and I'm going to start going back to these clubs and living my life again, and it just sort of slowly but surely filtered back into everyday drinking or using.
How's that as a parent at that age? Because obviously that's quite, I guess nowadays people say young to have a kid. You've obviously kind of been clubbing since 14. So for a lot of people, you'd already done what people would do at 19 to 25, 16 to 21, and then had a kid. Was it like that freedom and rebellion, and how did that play into parenthood?
I don't think it had anything to do with being a parent, to be honest. I was happy to have my daughter that young. That wasn't really an issue for me. It was more the freedom and the rebellion from the situation that I'd been in, I think, rather than being a parent. It started off when she was away at the weekends, and then it sort of filtered into, okay, well, she's in bed, she's safe, and I didn't think there was anything wrong with using drugs whilst my daughter was asleep in bed. Now, of course, I think there's something wrong with it, and I know that that's not right. But at the time, addicts are really selfish people, and we only think about how this is going to affect us in the moment. And all I could think about was, I want to have fun. My children never ever saw me take drugs, but they saw me on drugs for sure. Yeah.
Did they ever have any like inkling?
Towards the end, yeah. I could see their faces when they'd come home from school and I was mangled and I'm trying to act normal, and I could see them looking at me like, why do you look like that? What's wrong with you? And I remember my daughter saying to me once, she's like, God, you look cracked out. And I thought, okay, shit. Yeah.
I guess you've been sort of sober now,
nearly 4 years. In September it'll be 4 years.
4 years. So I guess timeline wise, from when your daughter was quite young, 2 or 3, through till 15?
Yeah, she was almost 16 when I finally quit. Yeah.
Cool. I'm just trying to think of the sort of timeline of it and like how old they were, because I remember, perception of sort of growing up in, one of my parents said you had sort of alcohol dependency, but it was from when I was probably 10 or 11 and, through till about 8-9 years ago. But I think during that time period, you become a little bit more aware as the older you get. And yeah, I kind of just remember going being able to walk in the house instantly and being like, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of hid behind drinking. I'd say that I'd had a few glasses of wine. And I think they also knew that I smoked weed, because at the time, I didn't think it was a bad thing for anyone to know that I smoked weed. I thought it was God's
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, this is fine.
Yeah, this is nothing. So yeah, they knew little bits, but they definitely didn't know how bad it was. And whilst I often put myself down a lot, saying, I wish I would have been a better mum, and I wish I hadn't done this, and I wish I hadn't done that. But I did manage to hold myself together a lot of the time for my kids. They were always clean and washed and taken for days out, and I always went to parents' evening and got them to school on time. And I even went to work. I
Very functional.
yeah, I did manage to keep quite a good a hold on things, but it was more internally. I was dying inside, and then I was dying physically. When I got sober, it was a life or death situation. I couldn't do it anymore.
I mean, were you thinking for a long period before you stopped, like, this needs to change?
Yeah. Before I had my third child, so we're talking, crikey, 2018, I remember starting to Google, like, what do I do? Like, what do you do if you're taking too much cocaine? And 12 steps came up, and I looked at it and thought, there's no fucking way I can do that. That's not a bit of me. And parked it to one side and carried on, and inevitably it got worse, because it never gets better. It only ever gets worse, until it got so bad that I was like, okay, I'm going to have a look at that 12 steps thing.
Yeah. Were there people in your life at the time, like friends, that were sort of, I won't say encouraging, but like when you're known as like the fun person, and did you have a circle of people that very much you were using together and having fun together? Because that was my big downfall, was that there was probably 15, 20 of us that were just on paper having a really sick time, but internally I wasn't having a good time at all, because I always was the one that would keep going. Where was your friendship circle in that?
My friendship circle was really small, a meaningful friendship circle. I mean by that, I knew a lot of people, but I noticed I started hanging around with a lot of younger people, and I think it's because I could justify like my behaviour then, because I'm doing the same as them, but they're like in their early 20s with no kids, no responsibilities. I'm like in my 30s with children responsibilities. So yeah, I definitely surrounded myself with people who I knew drank and used like I did. I wouldn't have wanted to be with anyone else. They would have been far too boring for me.
Yeah.
Or what I perceived to be boring, me now. Yeah, and I didn't like it when people told me or thought that I was doing something wrong.
Yeah, you don't want that like judgment really pushed upon you.
No, I really didn't.
Absolutely not.
Because I judged myself.
Yeah, I think that's a hard thing, especially cocaine. Like, there's points when I'd like be fucked up and go look in the mirror. And if you ever had that,
Yeah.
and you're like looking at yourself in the mirror, and you're like internally like, you're a piece of shit. Why the fuck are you doing this? And then you go downstairs and just do a massive fucking lie.
And then you don't go and do another one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, but I've just told myself that this is a terrible idea and I'm a piece of shit. But it's the most. I'm sure. I wouldn't say I've necessarily dabbled in the full buffet of drugs in the world, but for me, coke was the one that it's evil.
Yeah.
Because it just keeps you there at all times and doesn't go away.
Yeah, once you pop, you can't stop. It's like Pringles.
It's Pringles, yeah.
Yeah.
It's mad. So I guess, I mean, it's a prolonged period we're talking about here, right? So kind of
20 years.
20 years at the deep end.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned something earlier kind of about like the feds coming, like where did you get to in the brain space of it? Was it like solo using, paranoia? Like, would you mind giving our listeners a bit of depth in terms of what an evening would look like for you and where your brain would go?
Yeah, so from quite early on, say mid-20s, about 26, 27, I started getting paranoia and psychosis, but I didn't know that that's what it was. I genuinely believed that people were trying to get into my house, or that the police were coming for me. There was people watching me outside. And that was pretty terrifying, to be honest. And I moved out to, because I did used to live in London, so I moved out to the countryside, and I thought that will solve it. It's all the police sirens, that will stop it. And then when you live in the countryside and you live on a country lane, like, it makes it even worse, because you can hear every little mouse and every twig and every rustle of a leaf. But yeah, I'd spend nights, I'd just be awake the whole time, watching if any lights moved underneath the door, and sitting on the stairs watching to see if any car lights came past through the hole in the door, or even if I went out for a cigarette, I'd think that people were watching me through the holes in the fence or the windows on the other side of the garden. And so weird. I used to hide my drugs up in the light fittings, because I used to think that if the feds came to raid my house, it would be too high up for the sniffer dogs to smell it. So that was one thing I used to do. And another thing is I used to carry a fork in and it had to be a dirty fork in my pocket. That was my weapon. So when whoever it was that I thought was coming after me came in the house, I could stab them with the fork, because I could get away with saying I just took it off my dinner plate rather than it being an actual weapon. See, that sounds mental. I can see your face. You're like, Kaitlin, that sounds fucking mental.
No, I'm just like, I was funny because me and my partner always joke about like ways to get away with, like, you know, if you're like a crime.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, that's a new one.
Good one, isn't it? Yeah.
Add that to the list.
A dirty fork.
Yeah, no, it was horrible. And although I do share before photos online, I don't have very many of me like actually really mashed up, because I thought I was being watched through my phone. So I didn't like to take photos of videos of myself.
It's pretty intense, like sort of paranoia.
It was, but I didn't know that it was drug induced. I honestly thought I was getting away with it. I thought I had no consequences to what I was doing.
Would this be when other people were in the house too? Or was it very much when you were alone? Like if you had
Both,
people
yeah.
over, would you sort of be on the stairs like twigging a bit?
Yeah, yes, I would be like that. And I was known as like, Kate's going to kick us out at 10 o'clock. Because I'd tell people to come over, and then after a couple of lines, I'd start getting a bit like blind twitchy and listening out for the sounds, and guys, turn the music down and don't go out there for a cigarette because my neighbours will smell you. So I'd just kick everybody out and tell them that I wanted to go to bed. And all I really wanted to do was just get on it by myself.
That's so funny, because I never got on it on my own, but you're actually making me realise that I was exactly the same. Like I'm realising this in real time, that I'd be like, don't go outside. Like turn the music down.
Yeah.
Like someone's gonna do this. And I thought it was because I was being considerate. But actually, I think it's probably because I was freaking out.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh no.
Live breakdown.
Live breakdown.
Yeah.
See you
It's
at the
weird because
streets.
I'd like hide like that. And then other times I'd be like, everyone look at me. Like it gave me a lot of confidence. It's like paradox. It either gave me loads of confidence, or it made me want to hide in my fucking wardrobe because I think someone's after me. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so talking about I didn't let people take videos or photos of me. Do you remember TQ, the artist?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Thank you. So I heard he was coming to this nightclub into District. So I was like, I've got to go. I fucking loved him. And he was quite late. So by then I was drunk by the time he comes through the door, and I'm running around. I'm like, oh my God, TQ, I love you. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. I followed him into the VIP, and I'm at his table with him, and I'm like holding his TQ diamond chain. I'm like, oh my God, look, it's the TQ chain. This is so cool. And he's like, I don't think you're supposed to be in here. So yeah, so I don't think you're supposed to be in here. So I was like, okay, no, it's fine. And I left, but then I climbed back over and got back into the VIP, and we're having a chat, and he's like, girl, they gonna kick you out of here. And I was like, I don't care, I love you, TQ. And then I found the bouncer picked me up by my waist, removed me from the VIP section. And I've obviously just gone off and done my own thing. Anyway, TQ starts coming on the stage and singing. And I'm in the crowd, like I know all the words. And one of his people was like taking my hand and put me up on the stage. And I sang at Westside on the stage with TQ, right? And I say sang, I fucking murdered it. It's awful. And there's a fucking video of it. This girl, whoever she was who put me on the stage, took my phone and videoed my performance. So yeah, when it had finished, I got off the stage. I don't know why, walked out the club, got home, and then I was thinking, why did I just leave? That was like one of the most iconic moments of my life. I have no idea why I left. Anyway, a few months later, TQ puts on his Instagram where I've got a new music video out. So I was watching this fucking music video, and what do I see? Me, mash up, holding this fucking TQ chain. Like, honestly, my face is awful. It's awful. It's so bad. And then my sister.
So if anyone's listening, that's TQ Westside live on YouTube.
Brilliant.
My sisters then told my dad that I was in this music video. And then it comes to Christmas, and my dad's given me this present, and I've opened it, and it's the fucking picture. He's got his friend to steal the video, print out the picture, and put in a frame this picture of me in TQ of my fucking face. Like, honestly, it's awful.
Brilliant.
So I've got that picture.
That's nice.
Got that
That's
video.
one little
Me
memory
off my
of the
tits.
sesh.
Yeah, it's great.
because I think you're really honest and open on your platform about addiction and recovery and parenthood. And I think drugs in particular is maybe something that people are really ashamed to talk about. And I think it's so brave that you do. Do you mind kind of talking, I know you spoke about kind of, and I'm sure you were, you know, fantastic mum when you were, but do you mind talking about some of the challenges around kind of being aware that you're in active addiction, trying to be a mum, and then how that kind of led up to the point of you trying to change your relationship with it? Because you're obviously looking after other people, but really you just need to look after yourself at that point.
Yeah, I think, look, there were challenges every day of trying to keep a drug addiction under wraps whilst painting this picture of being this great mother on the outside. Because I actually wasn't being the mum I wanted to be. I wanted to be someone who's a good role model and teach my kids right from wrong. And although I was doing the basics, I wasn't really doing that. I was always on a come down or a hangover or buzzing. So my patience and tolerance and my presence were just not there. Then there'd be things like having to take them to school, and I've been up all night, going into the playground with always have my sunglasses on because I couldn't let anybody see my face or my eyes. And it was a real challenge navigating being a mum and being a drug addict in denial. And I think that the biggest thing for me was I didn't want to die and my children know that they weren't enough for me to get sober. Because the reality is, if they had been enough for me to get sober, I would have done it much sooner than when I did do it. But I really wanted that to be the case. And like I said, I used to lie awake at night praying, like, please don't let my children find me dead in the morning. I promise I won't do it again. But I have the illness of addiction, and that meant that I'd lost the power of choice by then. And as much as I wanted to be a good mom, that's all I ever wanted to be. You know, when I was a little girl, I never wanted to be a vet or a nurse or anything like that. I just wanted to be a mum, and I wanted to be a good mum. I didn't want us to make the same mistakes that happened in my childhood, and I was seeing that I was making the same mistakes. And like I said, yeah, they were starting to notice that something wasn't quite right with me. But the big thing is, like, when you're a mum and you are suffering with addiction, the stigma around that is very, very different to when you're a man. I'm not saying it's easy for men or dads to get sober or to admit that they're an addict, but it's a lot harder for a mum to do that. We're so differently judged by society. It's also a lot easier for a guy to go out to meetings or to go out for unity and to do the things that recovery needs you to do. It's a lot easier for a guy to go out and do that than it is for a mum to do that. It's a lot easier for a man to go to rehab than it is for a mum. Like, who's going to look after my kids if I go to rehab? How am I going to get judged by everybody if I go to rehab? But the ultimate thing was, if I ask for help, I've got to admit that got a problem with drugs, I will lose my children. And that held me back for years and years. I was desperate for help. I really, really wanted to stop for years and years and years. But I didn't know where to go or who to turn to without losing my children. But by the point where I did make that decision that I was gonna give it my all, I actually was willing to have to lose them for a little bit, if that's what it meant for me to get well and to get sober, so that I could be here for them longer term.
Yeah, that's really brave, because like that's not an easy decision to make. So yeah, very admirable thing to say and be prepared to do. You know,
100%.
Like, you know, that's a big thing. In the run up to you stopping, was there like a rock bottom moment, or was there what was it like, kind of the last day of you drinking, doing drugs? What happened?
It wasn't one particular rock bottom moment. I think that's quite a bit of a misconception that people have, that they've got hit rock bottom. Well, my rock bottom was a culmination of all those moments. It really was just a moment of realization, like actual realization, I think. Because I would say, oh, I know, but I didn't really know that, A, I was going to die if I didn't stop. I'd started thinking about using like crack and heroin, because I need thought I needed something more than that. That scared me quite a lot. I'd seen one of my family members, and I hadn't seen them for about 20 years, and they were using crack, and I was like, shit, that's going to be me if I don't stop. That's what my kids are going to see me as. And it was quite soon after that, I was just sitting in my garden smoking a joint, and something just hit me. It's like, it sounds a bit like woo-woo, but it was just like a moment, a spiritual moment of reality of like, you're going to die. You've got two choices. You can go down the crack and heroin route, or you can go back and look at that 12 steps thing that you found a while ago. And I was like, oh, I want to live. I don't want to die. I do want to live. So I had a look, okay, well, when's that next meeting? And I went to it. That wasn't the last time I used. I had one final blowout after that first meeting. So I was like, shit, if I'm going to stop forever, I'm going to have a blowout. And it was horrible. Oh, it was so horrible, because I went to town. I did everything I could find. And I went back to the meeting the following Monday, and that was on the 5th of September. Had a few pulls on a joint that day, which is pathetic. And then the 6th of September is my sobriety date. And I haven't, been sober ever since the 6th of September, 2022.
Wow.
It's funny though, I started smoking so many fags when I got sober. And I was like, oh, why is everyone smoking so much? I'm like, because I didn't think I smoked. Even though I smoked weed every single day, and obviously I put tobacco in my spliff, and I smoked whenever I was buzzing, like chain smoke, but I didn't think I smoked. Honestly, I was so fucking delusional about myself. It was wild.
That's it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think you're right. I think the perception of like female addicts, female coke addicts especially, is one thing, but then a female mum addict is another thing. So to get to that point where I'm so intrigued by the crack heroin thing, because it's interesting that your brain obviously at some point was like, I might go here. And I've never known, no one's ever spoken to us really about that potential pathway. Like my dad passed away from heroin, but it was very much like, all I know is that like it was heroin. I've never thought about the lineage. You're probably the first person that's spoken to us about like, I got this far on coke. Because we always joke about, I completed alcohol, that's why I'm sober. I completed coke, so that's why I'm sober. But I've never had someone in real time be like, well, I got to here with this, so I thought about this. But then I realized I had to go that way to get sober. Was that really the point for you? You were just like, I've got, this is it, whilst I guess physically just being a mess.
I couldn't do it anymore. I just was like, I can't do it. There's a saying that I heard when I first went into the rooms of recovery, which was, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that was exactly how I felt.
Also a great lyric by Anastasia.
Oh, is it?
Yep, very true.
By Anastasia. Talk to us about that first meeting, maybe the one after the blowout, but like kind of when that one, 6th September or 5th September, what changed for you? What did you connect with? What was scary? Where were you at?
What it was for me was being somewhere where I could be completely honest, because that was the main thing that was missing from my life, was the honesty. I remember a woman coming up to me and saying, oh, okay, so how much do you do? And where are your kids? And da-da-da. And I was thinking, fucking hell, do these people talk about this? Like in real life? Like, is this all right? Because I was like, there's no social services here. Okay, this is fine. And it was other people's honesty and hearing the person do the main share at the meeting. It just gave me so much hope, because I thought I was the only person that drank and used like I did. I thought I was the worst person in the world. I thought I just didn't deserve to be on this planet, didn't deserve to be a mum. And then I heard all these other people and they were saying what I was thinking. I'd never heard that before. So it just gave me so much hope that actually maybe if these people can do it, then I can do it. And that's why I share my experience. Because I don't, not arrogant enough to think that I can save someone or, but I can make a difference. I can help plant seeds into people's minds, and I needed that. So I try and do the same. I try and give it back in that way, because and that is why I will sit here and say, yeah, my baby was in another room. I had blue lips and I was doing coke. I'm not fucking proud of it.
Yeah, you're not here like, high five, look at me.
I'm so not proud of it. I'm ashamed of it. But the thing is, it's going on everywhere. It's going on so much more than people know about. And there's so many women that are terrified and they're stuck in the cycle because they think they're going to lose their kids or they're going to get judged and they don't know where they can go that's safe, that they're stuck. I've gone a bit off tangent. So yeah, for me, that's why it's important to answer these questions honestly and just say, yeah, this is how it really was and this is how it really is now. But when I walked into the rooms, you know, I sat there and I had a full face of makeup on, put a hat on, made sure I looked really nice because I didn't want anyone to think I was as bad as they are. And I was like, oh, Kaitlin, don't know if I really need to be here. I've just come to see like what this is. And then by the end of the meeting, I was like, yeah, I'm Kaitlin. I think I'm an addict. And
I think I'm the biggest addict.
I'll be back next week. Yeah, and I was. And I got a sponsor the next day. So from the 6th of September, I've had a sponsor. And I just did everything she told me to do. I was desperate. I was willing to do anything. And people would often say, oh, you know, it's like a bit of brainwashing, isn't it? Well, you know what? My brain needed a fucking good wash. So yeah. Literally, I was like a nodding dog. Yeah, I'll do that. And I did do everything. And I guess that's why I'm still here, nearly 4 years sober, doing what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the rooms, but I'm really aware that it's not for everyone. And there are other ways that people get clean and sober. And also it depends why you're getting sober. I'm not just sober, I'm in recovery. Those are two different things, in my opinion.
We actually had this conversation. We're actually going to a whole episode on this about like being teetotal, being sober, and being in recovery, because you shouldn't have to badge yourself. But we always talk about like the dangerousness of slipping into certain terminology in this space, because we did one episode a long time ago about the sober spectrum of someone who may quit after drinking 2 glasses of wine, you know, a week because they want to run a marathon, or people who are doing heroin in a fucking crack house. Like, both people have the right to both be in the same position, but it's interesting when you talk about different words and recovery and doing the work, and it's not just AA led. It's like, you know, sobriety is not linear, and I think it's really interesting for us to kind of take stock of where we all feel that we're at, because it's not just one. Like you say, AA might work for someone, CA might work for someone, something else might work for someone else. As long as you get to the destination you're looking to get to.
Who cares?
Who gives
as long as we're all right.
Yeah.
Like, can't we just like...
Exactly.
I think, and the unfortunate thing that I find with social media as well is like, actually, you know, the 12-step fellowships, they do get knocked quite a lot. People say, oh, it's a cult, oh, it's this and that. And I mean, it's obviously not, but it's the people in the rooms that are giving it a bad name, because they're the ones that will pipe up and say, well, you didn't do it the right way. This is the only way. And it's like, just let people fucking be, man. I don't give a shit how you got sober. I just care that you are sober.
I think it's a tool, isn't it? It's the same way that like people use different tools for fix different things in their house. Like AACA is a tool. Some people dip in and out. Some people go every day. Some people go every week. Some people use it when they need to. It's like, sure, people have the similar thing with our podcast, not comparing it to AA, but like, you know, we just try and put out a resource that might help some people. Some episodes people love, some episodes famously people hate, but like, we hope that someone gets something from everything, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's definitely true. I think podcasts for me were a huge tool that I used at the beginning. Well, in fact, I still do now, but particularly at the beginning when I was first, you know, in the car with myself or trying to do housework and I'm just by myself, I would put recovery podcasts on, and they were a game changer for me. They really helped me, and they still help me because my head can still get busy. You know, I still would say I am an addict. I still have the mind of an addict. If I don't work my program and do what I'm supposed to do every day, then my head can run away with me. And sometimes I need to bring it back to recovery, and I need to hear that terminology, or I need to hear other people's experiences that aren't like mine, because I've got to be open-minded and willing as well.
What's been your biggest challenges so far in your sobriety and recovery?
I mean, look, there's been situations that I found emotionally I haven't felt equipped to handle. It's like, it's too much and da-da-da. I've rarely thought I definitely want to go and get on it. I've definitely had moments when I've thought about it. It's more, when the emotions are so high and I don't know how to manage them and I don't know how to handle them. Because, you know, when you start heavily using drink and drugs, you stop maturing. So when I got sober, I was 16. And I've had to learn how to be an adult and how to be kind and loving and patient and tolerant and not in myself all the time.
It's funny when you say about, like, can you be around people using now?
It depends what they're using. Yeah, I don't want to be around anyone using coke. Like, I have been around people using coke and I think they're fucking boring.
I know, it's so funny, isn't it? I remember I have had one moment, and I messaged you because I was in Australia and I was in afters, and I think it's because it was just so unexpected, because I'm like, oh, I'm in my favorite country in the world, and then all of a sudden there was just gear everywhere, and it's so hard to explain to people, isn't it? It's like, I didn't want to use it, I just didn't like being in the environment where I was like, it was almost like taking me back to that moment where I was like, oh, I just hate this.
That digi feeling.
It's funny now, isn't it? Because I think when you stop, I don't know if you're the same, when you stop, I realized that I was by far probably the worst, because now I don't really see any of my mates out and about doing it, but when I was the one doing it, everyone was fucking doing it, because I was just like, whoa, 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 and then now I can go out with my mates and
I don't fucking share. No, you're joking.
yeah, that's my fucking need to be loved. But it was like, now I can go out with my friends, and maybe it's because they're being respectful to me, but I don't think it is. I think it's just that I was like definitely the fucking instigator.
Oh yeah, I took people hostage. I'd be like, yeah, come on. Yeah, come on, I'll pay.
Then it's 5 a.m. and they're leaving your house.
Fucking birds are starting.
Abby Feltham, who we love, did a slide today about like things that she deals with in sobriety, and slide 2 was like the birds being triggering. And even now, because my alarm goes at 5:50 something in the morning, if I wake up before my alarm and it's birds, I'm like,
I know you are. Yeah, I still have things like that. Like sometimes I'm still, when I see cars going past the house, I can still tense up, and the letterbox, that can still make me tense up a bit. Yeah, it's the nervous system takes a long time to rewire. And my memory is shocking.
My memory is shot. My partner's like, she'll tell me something, and then 2 minutes later I'll be like, what are we doing for that? And she's like, I just told you.
Mate, you need to start taking 15 grams of creatine a day.
I don't want to take any more grams of anything.
No, I was going to say.
Don't say that. Mate, she's like, do you know what's going to help you? Your memory, 15 grams a day.
But isn't it funny how anything that comes in weight, I still, like, if it says it's 10 grams, I still compare that to how many tickets that would be.
Yeah. But like, that's not that heavy.
Yeah, I do, literally. When I was like weighing out my cocoa the other day to make some chocolate, and I was like, that's about 30 grams. Yeah, like,
I know.
Is creatine good for the memory?
Say 5 grams a day for the muscles, 15 grams a day for cognitive function.
So what? I need 20 grams a day. 15 plus 5.
20. Well, 15 to 20 grams.
Let's go.
As long as your kidney function's good. Then you're good.
Okay, we'll
Try
do
it.
it.
Try it. It's really helped with my brain fog.
Really?
Massively.
It's interesting. Are you ADHD diagnosed, or?
I'm waiting for my diagnosis.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
She's like almost certainly.
Yeah,
I'm doing a dual one for autism as well. Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't, but it's like anyone that is. Hannah, just first time I met Hannah, she was like, you have ADHD. I was like, well, I don't want to try it. I'm cool. But anyone I've known that's like gone off the cliff with coke has those tendencies of just like, did it quieten your brain though? Because I didn't have that typical thing a lot of people say where it made their brain quiet. It just made me really laser focused.
Yeah, I don't think it ever made my brain quiet, but like you said, the same, laser focused. Having said that, that focus kind of does block everything else out, doesn't it?
Fucking cocaine.
And other times it would be like...
Yeah, well, the problem is you're laser focused until you go to bed. And then it's just like the demons. Why are we talking about this? Let's talk about all the positive stuff. Good things that have come in the last 4 years. Talk us through life and starting the platform and everything like that.
Yeah, do you know what? The platform thing was a weird one because it was just my personal page, and I started putting on that I was 3 months sober and 4 months sober, and it seemed to just grow and grow and grow. And now it's become a thing, which is great. I love being able to share and help other women know that they're not alone and be of support to people. So that keeps me really flipping busy, actually. It's like a job. I've started studying, so I'm going to study to become an addiction therapist.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's a lot. I've learned a lot about myself as well doing this course. It's been really interesting, and it's helped me sponsor other women as well, because I do that too within my fellowship. But you know what? The best thing that's happened in the last few years is the relationship that I've got with my children. I can't get enough of them. I just love being with them. I love seeing every little part of their personalities and their imaginations and just everything they do. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, life's really busy. I'm still recovering physically from all the shit that I put my body through, you know, my body really, really did give up completely. I couldn't walk or talk. I actually couldn't even say one sentence anymore. So there's been a lot of work on that behind the scenes. I don't really talk about it because my page is sobriety. I don't want to mix it all up. So yeah, busy, really flipping busy. And just starting to record my own podcast in a few weeks' time. So yeah, just
good luck.
fucking busy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't know if I'm definitely going to do it as a podcast. I might just do it as in conversation with, because there are a lot of podcasts, aren't there? And there's some,
and they
I don't know.
cost so much.
Yeah, and I've got no budget. No budget
Yeah, we have
whatsoever.
negative
So we'll
budget now,
see.
and it's not fun.
And this might be one of my Caitlin's bright ideas.
But that's the beautiful thing about sobriety, recovery. Like even now, you know, 4 years in, I'm still every day thinking of something new and exciting.
Yeah.
Whether I do it or not, I just think it's nice to be thinking about all the things I could be doing to help people rather than when I'm next buying gear. Or even like this gig I'm going to tonight, I would have already picked up and I would have had 4 or 5 bags in my pocket, and I would have been stressing about if there was going to be dogs at the door and texting my mates there before me and blah, blah, blah. That addict's behavior of just like never being out of the cycle of fear, but equally like fueling it all the time. I will never miss that, and I will never go back to it.
No, see, when I do my gratitude list every morning, I do 10 things I'm grateful for, and then I do 5 things I don't miss. Because actually, I find that the 5 things I don't miss are actually more powerful than the gratitude. Because I live in gratitude.
Give us an example of some things you don't miss.
Oh, I don't miss. I made my sponsor laugh the other day. I don't miss being resentful that my dealer drives a Mercedes and I'm paying for it. I don't miss crusty noses. I don't miss zero sleep. I don't miss psychosis. I don't miss pranging out. I don't miss hiding from my kids. I don't miss lying to people that I love. Oh, there's loads. There's loads of things.
Good.
There's always something.
And
but
it's
yeah,
endless, that, isn't it, actually?
it is endless, yeah. But it can be really easy to forget how shit it was, because it's quite a long time now. I mean, I still consider myself to be a baby in the recovery world, because nearly 4 years out of 20 is...
Yeah, we're the same. We just had someone on that was 19 years sober.
Wow.
And he's not old. He's like 43. You're like, you're a sober god. You know,
Yeah.
doing it a long time. But again, I'm sure for people like that, still not without its challenges, right? And that's what we say is like, that's why it's so interesting that even now when we listen back to when we first started this podcast, I was 9 months sober, and you know, now over 4 years in, so I'm still learning every day something new, a different challenge, a different thing I'm grateful for. We do our gratitude list in the morning, and that's really lovely. And it's just like, I just want to keep these practices up because they're things that help me stay accountable.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I need. Accountability. I need to be quite systematic with myself. I do need to be quite rigid. I like routines, and I don't think that's just the neurodivergency side of me. My life was really chaotic, so I need to stay consistent and accountable with my recovery. So that's why having a sponsor really helps me. But also doing social media, it does help me do that.
Yeah, that's really good. I think it might be time for
I think it is time.
our big 3. So first question, for anyone that's thinking of going on a journey of sobriety, what would your best piece of advice be?
That surrender is a strategy. It's not a weakness. If you have proven to yourself, like I did for years and years and years, that you can't do it by yourself, asking for help it means you're strong, not weak.
That's amazing.
I love that. We've never had that. That's phenomenal. Yeah,
That's great. What is the single best thing that sobriety has brought you?
Oh, the relationship with my children, without a doubt. Listen, I'm not the perfect mum. I definitely don't think that, but we have a great relationship. Just the other day, we were in the car, my 18-year-old, my 6-year-old, and me, and we're all singing Vibes Cartel, singing all the words. And I'm like, look at my 6-year-old, I'm like, I'm so fucking proud of you guys.
That's great.
This is amazing.
That's great.
So it's not always maybe appropriate, but we're happy and we're healthy and we're together. So yeah,
nice.
Definitely being
that.
with the kids. Yeah.
Amazing.
And lastly, we would like Kaitlin to write a letter to drunk/drugged.
I wrote this out because I knew you were going to ask me that.
Amazing. You're that. Do you know what?
Because I wouldn't have been able to remember.
I really respect that, because some people just go like, "Fuck you," and then they don't know what to say.
No, so mash up Kaitlin, fix up. I know you're scared and you don't know what to do, but it's time to put your big girl pants on and take some action. Nothing changes if nothing changes. If you don't stop soon, you know you're going to die from this and leave your children without a mummy. Think about what your legacy will be to them if that's what happens. Future you wants to tell you what's on the other side of starting the road to sobriety is going to be worth all the hard work, humility, and soul searching you need to do. You're not a bad person. You have an illness you didn't ask for. It's not your fault you're addicted. And yes, you are addicted. This isn't just a bad habit, but it is your responsibility to get sober and recovered for you and them. You're braver and stronger than you think. And one day you'll be able to say you're proud of the woman and mother you are. You've got this, but fucking do it now.
Come on, Kaitlin.
Thanks.
And you did it.
I did
did
it.
it.
Here you are.
One day at a time.
You're smashing it. Well,
time.
thank you so much. That was
Thank you.
That was an amazing chat, and I think really important. We, it's obviously a sobriety-based podcast, and a lot of the chats around alcohol for me, cocaine was my vice, and I really, really appreciate having people on that are really candid with it too, because I really struggled when I started. It was like, yeah, okay, I'm quitting drinking, but there's a reason I'm quitting drinking. It's just all that stuff, and I think there needs to be more people speaking about that as openly as you are. So it's appreciated.
I don't think there's any point doing it if it's not honest.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thanks.
Woo!